That small favor you agreed to last week, the one that left a sour aftertaste, wasn't kindness. It was compliance dressed in a borrowed coat. Every time you say yes because you'd feel guilty otherwise, you hand over a remote control. And here's the unnerving part. The person on the other end might be pressing the button without even realizing they hold it. That subtle, everyday manipulation has a name. You experience your choices as springing from independent thought, a clean, rational line from intention to action. But what if a silent debt collector lives in your mind, tallying favors you never asked for? It notes who helped you, who gave you a gift, and then it nudges your future behavior. That nudge feels like your own desire. This unseen bookkeeper may be the real author of your social moves. For 4 mornings straight, a black coffee appears on your desk. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You never requested it. Friday, they ask you to cover the whole weekend shift. Your stomach knots, but okay tumbles out as though their uninvited gifts have racked up a debt you must settle. That uneasy pull you feel isn't accidental. It's the invisible ledger of reciprocity at work. Let's slice open that split second when you agreed. What looked like goodwill was actually your brain settling an account. In milliseconds, it flagged a social debt and calculated the cost of not repaying it, anticipating guilt, awkwardness, or exclusion. That warm glow, a preemptive relief from dodging social pain. Your rational self-interest never got a say. It was a quiet, ancient transaction hidden beneath the word yes. And that machinery has even stranger implications when we zoom out. It would be easy to blame someone pulling your strings. But here's the disturbing twist. The mechanism needs no villain. It operates just as powerfully when the giver acts from pure kindness. The trap is in the wiring, your brain's automatic accounting of obligation. So how do you spot a debt no one meant to create? For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived by an unforgiving algorithm. Share the meat today, receive a share tomorrow. Accepting a gift meant accepting a debt. Refusing it meant breaking the tribe's only safety net. To refuse was to risk exile, and exile meant certain death. That ancient dread still courses through your veins, dictating every obligation you feel. Your brain keeps a precise tally of favors received and owed. 2 tiny regions, the insula and anterior cingulate cortex, act as a social debt ledger. Neuroimaging reveals that when someone does you an unsolicited favor, these same areas light up. If that debt goes unpaid, they generate a sensation strikingly similar to physical pain. That discomfort you feel isn't just metaphorical, it's your brain's alarm. And it's what pushes you to restore balance. That pain you interpret as conscience is actually a balance sheet flashing red. You sense a relational debt has been incurred, and the guilt algorithm demands repayment to reset the ledger. Social credit negative, it signals initiate appeasement to avoid exclusion. You comply automatically and then reframe the calculation as moral virtue. But what if that whole transaction is the coffee was just one silent contract? You've known others, the free ebook nudging you toward a $2,000 course, the just checking in message that mutates into moving heavy furniture, the out-of-nowhere compliment that lands right before a loan request. Each one whispers, "You owe me." Learn to hear that whisper and you're halfway free. Twist: most people deploying reciprocity on you have no clue. They're not scheming, just kind souls offering a favor, then asking for one back, blind to the psychological chain they forged. That innocence makes the effect dangerously invisible. You're dancing with a puppet master who can't see the strings. So let's start by making them visible. Some learn the recipe deliberately. They love bomb with micro favors until your no atrophies. The weaponized compliment slips past your defenses, a blade wrapped in silk. Notice how their warmth always circles back to their needs. You're not receiving kindness, you're being managed. Next, we'll explore what happens when you finally push back. A landmark experiment turned our understanding of favors upside down. Even when a request would cost you personally, your brain still votes to repay. Liking the person didn't matter at all. Only the debt itself drove behavior. You felt an invisible obligation that had nothing to do with warmth or friendship. This opens a door to something far more unsettling. Dennis Regan ran a clever study where you and other participants waited in a room. A Confederate brought you an unexpected Coke. Later, she asked you to buy raffle tickets, and if you'd taken the drink, you bought twice as many. Even when she was deliberately rude and unlikable, the result held. The urge to repay didn't care how you felt, it was automatic. That reflexive pull is what makes reciprocity so powerful. That virtuous choice you just made, it wasn't a moral compass, it was an alarm bell on a debt you never agreed to. You helped because a subconscious ledger already showed you owing. Your reflex wasn't generosity, it was the fastest way to quiet that nagging sense of imbalance. So if moral action is just debt repayment in disguise, what really motivates you when the books are clean? Pause for a moment and rewind to your most recent automatic yes, the one that landed with a quiet thud in your chest. What was the favor, and what did it cost you? Drop that hollow yes in the comments. You'll see you're not alone, and that pattern might have a deeper source. Every time you swallow a no and force a yes, you commit a small, quiet betrayal against yourself. You cover a shift you can't afford, lend money you've already earmarked for rent, nod along to opinions that make your skin crawl. The immediate cost feels manageable, but the hidden toll accumulates. You are systematically teaching your nervous system that your own limits carry no weight, and something inside begins to erode. You keep giving, hoping the score will even out, but that internal tally never zeros. Every kindness you offered came with a silent invoice, and now you're exhausted waiting for payment. Resentment doesn't come from their failure to reciprocate. It comes from realizing your gifts were unspoken prepayments. The relationship shifts from a living bond to a brittle ledger, and genuine connection slowly suffocates under the unacknowledged debt. You can hold the door for your own needs without slamming it on everyone else. The answer isn't to become a paranoid cynic. It's to understand one crucial distinction most people never learn: how to keep the favor without selling your soul. It starts with, a genuine gift desires nothing but the joy it brings you. It doesn't knock on your door the next day asking for your time, your signature, or your compliance. A pre-favor, by contrast, has a silent stopwatch attached. The real tell for you lies in the timing of the ask and the emotional pressure that follows. Learn to notice the difference because it often arrives disguised as generosity. That uncomfortable urgency flooding your chest isn't an accident, it's the mechanism. The entire trap runs on speed because guilt demands an instant answer. The revolutionary act is a simple 5-second pause. In that silence, your prefrontal cortex finally wakes up and asks a quiet, clarifying question: what am I actually agreeing to? From there, everything shifts. When tension spikes, you can buy yourself a moment without turning the interaction into a staring contest. A simple "let me think for a second" or a slow sip of your drink gives your prefrontal cortex time to catch up. That knot of urgency you feel, it's just a signal, not an order. Let it pass, and you'll find your next move already waiting beneath the heat. When someone's past kindness tugs at you to say yes against your will, you need a phrase that honors their gift without accepting a new debt. Try this: thank you so much, but I can't do that. No sorry, no because. An explanation is just a loose thread a pushy person can pull. A clean boundary is the only blade sharp enough to cut the spell. And once you wield it, you'll notice something surprising about who really holds the power now. That knot in your stomach when you decline an unasked for favor isn't guilt. It's a reflex mistaking assertion for aggression. Real guilt comes only from breaking a promise you made. If you never requested the coffee, you owe nothing. Reframing lifts the moral stain from your no. And once that stain dissolves, your boundaries speak clearly. A world without that quiet pull to return a kindness sounds almost sterile. But if you kill the reciprocity instinct, don't you also erase something beautiful about being human? This isn't just a trap. It's a crossroads where you get to decide who you want to become. Mastery isn't about guarding yourself from takers. It's about giving so freely your gifts cast no shadow, no expectation, no hidden invoice, just the pure joy of the act. Then let it dissolve into silence, never spoken of again. That's the higher game, the standard to set. A quiet, self-sufficient grace. And once you taste it, here's a straightforward litmus test. When you say no with respect, watch the reaction. Genuine people shrug and move on. But those keeping a mental ledger betray a micro-expression of frustration. A tiny flash of "I put coins in, where's my reward?" That flicker is the emotional truth. Learn to spot it, and you'll never mistake transaction for connection again. For the next 7 days, turn your attention outward and hunt for 3 moments where someone offers you something small, only to request something larger moments later. Do nothing but notice. Catalog the precise sequence, the subtle urgency, your own reflexive discomfort. Commit each to a note. The tally will startle you. Once you see the machinery, you can't unsee it. That split-second hesitation isn't hesitation at all. It's an uprising. Every time you pause, you override 1,000,000 years of instinct. You cease to be a predictable creature, driven by ancient code, and become the architect of your own life. That tiny gap is your quiet rebellion, where you decide who to become next. The moment you stop the automatic yes, something in you unclenches. Your consent becomes your own. After a pause, a genuine wish to help rises, unforced, unburdened. That yes feels like a gift you actually chose to give. It doesn't hollow you out, it fills you with quiet integrity. That's when you understand the difference. And now you see. The coffee still appears on your desk, a small kindness. You accept it without tracing strings. When the shift swap request comes, your refusal rises from a settled core, not panic. Your nervous system no longer hijacks the choice. That night you sleep deeply. This steady freedom is your foundation, and genuine connection starts to grow. But the hardest person to spot in this cycle is the one staring back from the mirror. You too might be leaving invisible debts, your generosity quietly laced with unspoken expectations. The trap ensnares us all, but those who see it can break the pattern. Real giving requires nothing back, not even gratitude. The next question changes everything. Guilt has long been mistaken for a compass, but its needle often points to old hurts, not true north. You're not a bad person for feeling guilt, nor a bad person for refusing its command. You are simply, for the first time, free to mean it when you say yes, and that makes all the difference. This liberation isn't a finish line. It's an invitation to examine every other should that still whispers in your ear.